Imagine staring at a dead piece of wood covered in strange, contrasting pigment marks, and suddenly, you are hallucinating vividly. You are hearing voices that do not exist, feeling the freezing wind of a mountain you have never climbed, and experiencing the profound grief of someone who died centuries before you were born. This is the absolute, literal magic of human reading. We often take this everyday act completely for granted, viewing it as a simple utilitarian tool for gathering basic information or passing a school exam. However, from a biological and neurological standpoint, reading is arguably the most complex and unnatural gymnastic feat the human brain has ever taught itself to perform. Unlike spoken language, which is hardwired into our evolutionary DNA and develops naturally in infants, the ability to read is not pre-programmed into our genetic code. It is an artificial software update that completely physically rewires the architecture of the brain, forcing disparate neural networks to bridge together and communicate in entirely new ways. This fascinating cognitive hack not only expands our intellectual horizons but actively physically alters our biology, serving as a powerful catalyst for neuroplasticity, emotional resilience, and long-term cognitive health. When you look at a written word, a complex chain reaction explodes across your central nervous system. Your eyes capture the visual data, sending it to the occipital lobe at the back of your brain. From there, the signal is routed to a specialized region known as the visual word form area, a small patch of tissue that essentially acts as the brain's biological dictionary. But the true magic happens when this visual area connects with the auditory and language processing centers. As you read these words, you are internally hearing them spoken in your mind, a phenomenon known as subvocalization. This cross-communication forces the brain to build thick, highly efficient tracts of white matter, which serve as the high-speed information highways of the nervous system. The more you read, the stronger these neural pathways become, resulting in faster overall cognitive processing speeds. Deep reading acts as a rigorous cardiovascular workout for the brain, constantly demanding the integration of visual, linguistic, and associative networks, which physically fortifies the mind against the inevitable degradation of aging. It is critical to distinguish between the superficial, fragmented reading we do while scrolling through social media and the immersive, sustained focus required to read a physical book. Digital reading trains the brain to frantically hunt for quick dopamine hits, scanning for keywords and rapidly jumping between disconnected pieces of information, which actually fractures our attention span. In stark contrast, deep reading requires sustained, undivided concentration, forcing the brain to hold complex narratives and intricate logical arguments in working memory over extended periods. This sustained cognitive load heavily stimulates the hippocampus, the brain's primary memory center, promoting the growth of new neurons and the strengthening of existing synaptic connections. Numerous neurological studies have demonstrated that individuals who engage in lifelong reading habits significantly delay the onset of age-related cognitive decline. Building this robust cognitive reserve acts as a neurological buffer, ensuring that even as physical brain tissue naturally shrinks with age, the remaining heavily connected neural networks can compensate and maintain high-level mental function for decades longer. Beyond the sheer mechanical enhancement of memory and processing speed, reading offers a profound psychological benefit by radically expanding our emotional intelligence through a mechanism known as theory of mind. This is the psychological capacity to attribute distinct mental states, beliefs, intents, and emotions to oneself and to absolutely recognize that others have mental states completely different from our own. When we immerse ourselves in literary fiction, we are forcibly placed behind the eyes of characters whose life experiences and emotional traumas may be radically different from anything we have ever encountered. As we navigate their internal monologues, our brain essentially runs a highly sophisticated virtual reality simulation. The very same neurological networks that light up when we experience our own physical pain or emotional distress activate sympathetically when we read about a character suffering. This simulated emotional experience stretches our capacity for empathy, dismantling our innate tribal biases and making us measurably more compassionate and understanding in our real-world interactions. The benefits of immersing yourself in a good book are not confined strictly to the cerebral cortex. they cascade powerfully throughout the entire physical body. In our hyperconnected, relentlessly demanding modern world, chronic psychological stress has become a silent epidemic, keeping our nervous systems trapped in a permanent state of fight or flight. Engaging in just 30 minutes of uninterrupted reading has been clinically shown to radically reduce physiological stress markers. As your mind intensely focuses on the narrative, your autonomic nervous system begins to shift away from sympathetic arousal and heavily engages the parasympathetic rest and digest mode. Your heart rate measurably slows down, your muscular tension begins to melt away, and your adrenal glands drastically reduce their output of cortisol. This profound state of physical relaxation makes reading an incredibly effective tool for combating insomnia. By replacing the blue light of a digital screen with the soft light of a physical page, you naturally prepare your body for a highly restorative cycle of sleep. While the therapeutic and physiological benefits of a consistent reading habit are incredibly profound, it is important to clearly understand the role of such practices within the broader context of holistic health. Exploring the cognitive enhancement, stress reduction, and emotional regulation provided by literature is a powerful method for supporting a healthy lifestyle and building long-term mental resilience. However, reading is strictly meant to serve as a complementary, preventative habit rather than a direct substitute for professional medical care. Individuals struggling with severe clinical depression, chronic anxiety disorders, or acute neurological conditions should always seek the expert guidance of qualified healthcare professionals or licensed therapists. Incorporating reading into your daily routine is an essential component of a proactive wellness strategy, working beautifully alongside proper nutrition, physical exercise, and adequate sleep to create a thriving human organism. Ultimately, the act of reading is the ultimate act of human rebellion against the absolute limitations of our physical existence. We are born into one specific body, bound to one specific geographical location, and constrained by the brief timeline of a single human life. But the moment you open a book, those physical limitations completely shatter. You gain the godlike ability to absorb the concentrated, lifelong wisdom of history's greatest philosophers, scientists, and artists in a matter of hours. You acquire a mental toolkit that allows you to continuously upgrade your own operating system, constantly refining your worldview and sharpening your intellectual edge. Reading is not just an escape from reality, it is a profound engagement with the limitless potential of the human mind, a daily practice that physically rebuilds your brain, heals your stressed body, and ultimately makes you a much more capable human being. Thank you for exploring the incredible neurological and psychological wonders of reading with me today. If discovering how the simple act of decoding symbols can physically rewire your brain, reduce your physiological stress, and dramatically boost your emotional intelligence brought value to your life, please hit the like button right now to support our growing health channel. What is the one book that completely changed your perspective on life, or what genre do you find the most effective for lowering your daily stress? Share your favorite reads and personal experiences in the comments section below so we can build a massive library of recommendations together. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you never miss our deep, scientific explorations into human biology, cognitive optimization, and healthy living. Until next time, keep upgrading your mind, turn the next page, and stay vigilant.